How's it going, everyone? Liam Catterson here with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is episode 11, Out of Mind, Out of Sight. And then there's one more after this, and then we are done with one season. Though I'm guessing this would be around the halfway point for other seasons, because I think this show was described in the comments. I think it was episode 1. As a mid-season replacement or something like that, so half episodes, I'm imagining, to the standard 20-odd or whatever. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into this. Last episode was on another level. It was holy shit, basically. That's your description of how just insane it was. I absolutely enjoyed Nightmares so much. There was a lot to just divulge with that episode, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. So, yeah, with that said, let's just get into episode 11. Extended reaction will be up on Patreon. So, with that said, let's go.
Show and tell. Did I mention this for history class?
She is always hanging with that creepy librarian in that creepy library.
Hey, did I ever
Leave Giles alone.
Me at the Bronze? I don't know why the school admits mentals like her.
If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh?
You suck!
If you traumatizing event of my life, and she's trying to make it about her leg. Like my pain meant nothing.
Oh my god, Cordelia.
Point here, which we'll pursue at a
I'm
later
gonna
time.
suffer an aneurysm in a minute.
Miss Miller?
So selfish.
Today, Cordelia. It's always exciting to know someone's actually done the reading.
Thanks.
Yeah, Willow, exactly. Oh! Bloody hell! Was a ghost? Don't piss off the ghosts.
That anymore, you got us.
Be my deputy.
Be my deputy.
Guys, come on. Mitch got wailed on. I think he's dead.
That's a Willow moment.
What are you, ghouls? There are no dead students here. This week.
He's dead.
Clear back,
This
nice room,
week.
all of
Yeah.
you. Hold on. What have you two heard?
His dad, the lawyer. You haven't heard of him?
Other lawyers call him the Beast.
Ooh. I love that. Willow. Good on her. Good on her. Just write down reason 500 why to love Willow. I've got 500 reasons already. Look.
Look, that's all it said?
Look at what? Look at Mitch.
Maybe. All I know is it's a message.
And?
Ah, here you are.
And monsters don't usually send messages. It's pretty much
Look
crush,
behind
kill,
you.
destroy.
What do you want? I just hope they can prop him up long enough to
Oh?
take the picture.
Cordelia, can I talk to you?
Oh, great.
Ooh.
Always try.
Oh! Keep rolling, rolling.
She just fell all by herself.
No, I
Your
was
stairs are
touched.
rubbish.
Ow!
Don't sue.
Oh my god, don't sue, don't sue.
Joss, have
Oh,
you ever
God.
touched a ghost?
No, from what I've heard, having
the
a
FBI
ghost
agents
pass through
doing
was
here?
a singular experience.
Guess I'm gonna start the hunt.
How exactly did you propose to hunt someone you can't see? You may have to work on listening to people.
Very funny.
I thought so.
You need some kind of spell. We had this problem in D&D once. It was a right nightmare for the party.
Oh.
Angel! Oh! Ah, yes.
Vampire
'Cause-
casts no reflection. It's reputed to have contained the most complete prophecies about the Slayer's role in the end years. Unfortunately, the
wow.
book was lost in the 15th century.
Not lost. Misplaced.
Oh.
I can get it.
Be a babe, Angel.
That would be most helpful.
Damn, she just got shut out. That's...
The winner is Cordelia Chase.
That's really, really bullshit. Hey, Cordelia, you won.
Thank you for making the right choice and for showing me how much you all love me.
Oh! Oh, shoot!
Miller?
That is grim.
Are you okay?
Listen. Listen. Shh.
Looked like she'd been there
Doctor
for
Who.
months. That's where I found this. Check it out.
Oh my god.
Look, listen.
Have a nice summer. Have a nice summer. This girl had no friends at all.
Once again, I teach
Oh.
at the precipice of the generation gap.
Is that like
Have a
sympathy
nice
writing?
summer.
Like,
Right when you have...
Xander, we each had 4 classes with her last year.
so she was
No
completely
one noticed her, and
alone.
now she's invisible.
What, she turned invisible because no one noticed her?
She became invisible because she was invisible.
I've been investigating the mystical causes of invisibility when I should have looked at the quantum mechanical. Physics.
I think I speak for everyone here.
No one would have noticed her disappearing,
Isn't
would
this
they?
great power that she can control.
Something eerie,
Something
but
that was done to her. That we did to her.
No wonder she's miffed.
What does she
it's
want?
heartbreaking.
Just so...
I know that you share this feeling that we have for each other deep down.
Nausea?
Somebody is after me. They just tried to kill Mrs. Miller. She was helping me with my homework. And Mitch. And Harmony. This is all
She was
about
hanging.
me. Me.
Wow, for once she's right.
If I'm not crowned tonight, then Marcie's won. And that would be bad. She's evil, okay? Way eviler than me.
She's not necessarily
Cordelia has a point.
evil in a
Buffy's
sense,
with me on this.
but then again, putting a
Anyway,
plastic bag over someone's head.
continuing the normal May Queen activities may be the best way to draw Marcie out. We can use Cordelia as bait.
Great. Bait?
Willow, Zada, you
Great.
will help
Wait,
me begin
late.
research anew.
Wait.
Unless we find a way
I thought-
to cure
I thought we
Marcie's
were
invisibility,
joining in.
Buffy will be...
Alone, then why do you work so hard at being popular?
Well, it beats being alone all by yourself.
Wow.
Listen.
That's her message. Cordelia with that message, though. Holy shit. I think my heart just grew for Cordelia.
Spark and you'll take the whole building with us.
Logic, come on, logic, come on. No fire in a gas-filled zone. Bad.
Cordelia!
Oh, is she taking her back to her place? I don't care how powerful you are, that's hurting like a bitch.
She has gone mad.
You think?
No, she literally has. Insanity, like, isolation could do a lot.
I'm disappointed. I really hope you guys have figured it out by now.
Oh,
Well, why
boy.
don't you explain it? Come on, Marcie, what are we supposed to learn?
I mean, people who pass you on the street are gonna remember you for the rest of their lives. Children are gonna dream about you. And every one of your friends who comes to the
Marcie.
coronation tonight will take the sight of the May Queen to their graves.
Wait.
Is this
Yeah,
really
we really have to get
a
started.
better
The local
option?
anesthetic- I think we should start with your smile. I think it should be wider.
Marcie,
Why
I know
so
you think
serious?
I don't understand, but I do.
I'll bet you know how I feel. I'm sure you can just be with all your friends and feel so alone because they don't really know you. You're just a typical self-involved, spoiled little brat, and you think you can charm your way out of this, don't you? Isn't that what you think?
Ah, shit! Marcie, come on!
From you.
Hey! Good on Angel! Good on Angel! Our hero!
What happened? You tell me.
I'm up, Mom.
Willow!
I brought you the codex.
Yes! Her appearance might be invisible, but her senses are not like her sounds. Is Marcie just standing, like, waiting to see her next move? Holy crap, okay, that's good. That's good.
It would be best for you to forget this whole incident.
Do you know that you guys are very creepy?
Thank you for your help.
Oh, and have a nice day.
Have a nice summer.
Okay, class, let's get started. Everybody turn to page
Entire
54 of your
class.
texts.
From different schools.
Cool.
Oh, great! Great! That's not gonna come back and haunt us any time in the future, is it? Is it? So they must have, that school must have been everyone who was in Marcie's predicament, which is, like, don't get me wrong, it's a sad story, and it's sad how Marcie got in that predicament anyways. And isolation can hurt you, and it can damage you to the point for Marcie where she turned insane, and she just lost the will. Well, not the will to live, but she lost. She became more insane, basically. So, but it is sad how she turned out that way. And loneliness. They touched on loneliness and isolation in a good way, I felt, in this episode. So yeah, that was pretty sad, wasn't it? Like, when you put your mind to it, it was a really sad episode, wasn't it? Like, it was just heartbreaking to see Marcie in the flashbacks, and to see how isolation has twisted her mind into a more insane direction. And in this episode, we also felt a bit for Cordelia as well, which is something I never thought I would say. But I felt like this was great. Like, it's great that we finally got to kind of appreciate Cordelia a bit, because these past 10 episodes, she's just been one description: total see you next Tuesday. But in this episode, we finally got a bit of insight into Cordelia and why she is the way she is. And we actually got to warm to her a bit in this episode. I really liked this episode. The theme of loneliness was a really, really great theme to attribute to this episode. I also have made a little bit of a point that I feel like Doctor Who's Listen, the episode Listen, was inspired by this episode, because I did make that little joke. I don't know if it'll be in the YouTube edit. Probably will, because I like my Doctor Who references. It's a moth to the flame, isn't it? But a moth to the... No, I was just trying to make a shitty joke, but it's not coming. There was that Listen on the chalkboard, and my mind went back to Doctor Who's Listen, but also you had a threat who you couldn't see, and they would be entangled in a red blanket. So if Doctor Who's Listen wasn't inspired by this episode, then that is either complete bullshit or a complete coincidence, because I did read a comment on my episode 1 reaction to Buffy, where someone said that this show really does create some fundamental stuff for the shows we see today, because it's just they say that this show is iconic, and one of the reasons it's iconic is because of how fundamental it can be to certain stories. So I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if Listen was inspired by this episode. So yeah, but and both episodes are really, really strong in their own degrees, in my opinion. With this one being completely different, but it still sent a strong message about loneliness, and how you felt so bad for Marcie, but you also felt a bit for Cordelia, like I said. Yeah, I liked the focus on her. I really, really enjoyed how we... Like, she's still a bit of an obnoxious bitch, and she's still a bit, like, you still take a bit of a dislike to her, but I have opened up to her character a bit more. No longer is she, like, 100% pure bitch, would not associate myself with her whatsoever, she could just get thrown into a volcano. I actually do resonate with her in a sense, and I really, really loved her scene with Buffy when she talked about why, like, when Buffy said, "Why do you work so hard at being popular?" And then Cordelia was like, "Well, it beats being alone by yourself." When she was talking about, "Oh, yeah, I do have friends and all of that, but I don't feel like they get me, and I feel like they may not like me, and I do fear loneliness myself." And I feel like who Cordelia is, it's what she needs to be. This popularity, being a bit of a bitch, I guess, she wants people to look her way so she can feel that inspiration. She can be inspirational. She can quell fears of who she doesn't want to be. And yeah, that's basically it. She's doing her best to make sure those fears don't come to fruition. So yeah, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed that focus on Cordelia so much, and it's so relatable in a sense as well. Like when like I said, when she spoke about it beats being alone by yourself, it really shook me. Like I had nothing to say. I was completely shocked about how true and how honest that opinion was, because I'm literally in those same shoes. Like, I do have friends of my own and all of that. I'm not completely alone. But I do have that fear that, especially with me not being the best conversationist, and I'm not as charismatic as a lot of my friends are, I do have that fear that people just agree to be friends with me, and inside their mind, it's a completely different opinion to what I read in terms of text messages and all of that. So I always have that number one fear when it comes to friends of mine. And like I said, especially since I'm not the best conversationist, I sometimes feel like people... It's difficult for people to decipher what I'm saying. Because my autism is really, really great with my speech and all of that, it's really difficult to speak like them, because I see a lot of people and they've got it nailed down. It's like there is a script in their brain and they're like, bingo. But for me, it's like pulling teeth and all of that. And when I translate what's going on in my mind to my voice, I sometimes worry that people are going to be completely puzzled with what I have to say. It's why I hope that, like, people will just enjoy the reviews and all of that as well when it comes to reaction videos. Like, I hope that people understand what I say and all of that, because it's like, I'm not the best conversationist, and I will screw up all the time when it comes to speeches. So, yeah, But just the idea of loneliness as well is just horrifying. Like, it's just completely haunting, and and that's why you could resonate as well for Marcie. Not with what she did, like pulling the plastic bag over the teacher's head and all of that, but her general feel. Like when we saw her in the flashbacks and Cordelia just completely shadowed her. You felt so much, and your heart just dropped there. But yeah, like I said, I can understand where Cordelia is coming from. Like having people around you and all of that does help in a sense, even if people, like, I guess, might think differently of you and all of that, and they're just agreeing with you. And she's working so hard to keep, she works so hard to keep that popularity, but it does beat being alone by yourself. And I've been in both, I've been in a situation where I have feared that people might not, their feelings about, oh, Liam, you're amazing and all of that, that might be different in their minds. I've been in that situation where I fear people think differently of me, and I've been in the situation where I've been totally alone with myself. When I first started college, I was always the kid in the corner on the PSP because people wanted to distance themselves away from me. PSP, those were the days. And then I had friends, and then they all started to move, they started to leave college and all of that, or be in different classes. And I was back alone again. Not with a PSP, but with a laptop this time. So it's an upgrade, isn't it? The PSP into a laptop. But no, in all seriousness, I've been there where I've sat in the hallways all on my own with a cup of coffee, not having anyone to speak to. And it was just absolutely heartbreaking. It was even worse for Marcie, though, because even her teacher blanked her. So yeah. But I can understand why Cordelia fears about being alone by herself, and it's not something I would do, be obnoxious to the point where I hope that people are inspired, oh, I've got a big presentation on all of that, and people can be inspired by me and all of that jazz. It's not something that I would do, but she has got a point. What she does beats being alone. Being alone absolutely is heartbreaking, and it's, to me, one of the worst feelings you could really, really get. And you can't fault Cordelia for this gives Cordelia a bit of humanity at the end of the day. Like I said, sure, she's still a bit obnoxious and all of that, but it's not like she's obnoxious because we've got to have an obnoxious person in the show. There's some depth to Cordelia's character and all of that. So yeah, but yeah, it was really, really good focusing on giving a bit of characterization to Cordelia, and it was really interesting to go into the threat of this episode. I don't know if it would I don't know. Because she did get insane, to the point where, like I said, choking someone with a bag and with a plastic bag, and then she wanted to basically jokify Cordelia with the let's draw a big smile. You want to know how I got these scars? So yeah, but I really, really loved the theme in this episode and how they wrote it. It was a really, really good concept to use, and how it impacts the threat of this the threat in this episode and someone like Cordelia was done really, really well. But yeah, I understood the initial pain that Marcie felt, but she did go too far with getting revenge on everyone. But it's not like she did that because she wanted to become a villain, but she's been warped, I guess. She had no one by her side and all of that, and she was completely isolated. So, but it's still not something that I would encourage. What she did, it was still a big hell no for me. So yeah. I liked the scene where Buffy stopped and tried to learn where Marcie was as well, which was really, really good stuff. I think I might use that I don't know. What will I use for my thumbnail? Who knows? But that's a thumbnail-worthy shot, in my opinion. It was really, really, it looks really, really great. Angel, it was great to see him again in this episode. Interacting with Giles as well. It was great that we have him interacting with someone besides Buffy. But it wasn't I liked it for that part because it's something different. It's just the way he interacted with Giles. was really, really beautiful in my opinion. I really loved it. Like Giles talked about that Codex book. And yeah, just the general interactions with Angel and Giles was heartwarming. I would describe it as heartwarming. I really, really was immersed with the acting and just the relationship in that scene alone for both Giles and Angel. I thought it was really, really great stuff to see. But yeah, FBI guys as well felt a bit weird. But it seems like they are building to the idea of having, like, stealth killers or whatever, because they collected people who were similar in Marcie's situation from other schools across America. And it seems like they have a school of, one of the pages was assassination, but it seems like they're building to the ideas of having stealth killers, because assassination equals invisibility, invisibility, should I say, equals stealth kills and all of that. Something you would never see coming. And because the isolation of Marcie has twisted her mind to extreme lengths I would not advocate, the FBI, I guess, are licking their lips and taking advantage of this situation that Marcie's in. So, yeah. But I thought it was a bit weird how they were placed in there and they were just hanging around the school and all of that. It was just really, really weird. I love the subtle hints on the isolation theme as well. Like Willow and Xander were sharing were sharing memories, and Buffy could not relate to that. And we also had Buffy look at Cordelia getting ready, and you could tell from her face she felt really, really hurt about how shunned Cordelia's actions to Buffy has done to her. Like, that rejection feeling, you could, I felt like you could tell from her face how hurt she was, so yeah. But, yeah, it was a really, really good episode. I absolutely loved it so much. You felt bad for Marcie. You couldn't advocate her actions. I don't know. There's one thing that does distract me, and it's, do you really call her a villain? Because I know they used the theme for Season 1, Villain of the Week, as some of the comments have said. I don't know. Her actions were villainous. Let's put that out there. But I feel like because she had nobody there and nobody to keep her on the right tracks, she was lost. She was forgotten. She turned insane. And she had to be stopped, but I feel it's that case of there was nobody there for her, and yeah, she just handled isolation in a really, really bad way. So it's not like she is well, I wouldn't say her. Like I said, her actions were really, really shitty, but it's not like there are some people in the show, like we've encountered threats who are just full-blown poison, like the witch in episode 3 and all of that, and the praying mantis teacher. Just that isolation, I feel, has warped her into this direction, but it's still something that I do not approve of. I just feel like if she had, well, obviously I think the theme is, if she had that connectivity with people and if people noticed her, she wouldn't turn out like this. Not to say that, it's not to say that the message of this episode is don't be isolated or you're going to turn out to be a killer. Just, I know that the people do handle isolation in different ways. Some people do handle it in different ways. In my knowledge, I think they do handle it in different ways, but she just took it into a complete 180 and didn't do herself any favors. Or you never know in terms of the FBI's case. Like I said, they were licking their lips, it seems, at the condition of Marcie and took advantage and took her to that school, it seems. So it's another one, and yeah, but the whole situation, you do feel so bad for Marcie, but like I said, her actions, nada. So yeah, that was really, really decent stuff from this episode. Like I said, the idea of loneliness was greatly utilized. And it was heartbreaking, even for Cordelia, but yeah, it was a great episode. I really enjoyed this episode so much. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. You can check my videos on the right if you want to check out more of my content. You can also subscribe to my media feeds and channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys take care. And I will see you guys next time. Toodles!